Welcome to the Mind of Basketball Podcast, also known as M.O.B Podcast, episode 54. I'm Evan.
And I'm Ja.
And it's our basketball podcast where we recap, break down, and analyze players and teams from previous games from the previous day. How are you this Thursday afternoon, Ja?
I'm good. How are you? I know you're getting prepared for All-Star and stuff.
Well, everybody is.
Yeah.
Well, you are as well. So
yeah. Yes, I am.
But I'm doing good. We have a lot to go over.
Yeah, a lot.
For today. So let's jump to it. I hope everyone's having a good day. I hope everyone will have a good day. Like I said, a lot happened last night. Of course, we have a lot to cover. The games last night, the multiple crazy outcomes of those games, crazy performances, crazy shocking results and all that. We have, of course, our all-star starters to present to you. So we got to get into that. But first, we have to give a happy belated birthday, as we didn't do it yesterday, to arguably, in our opinions, the GOAT, the greatest of all time in terms of basketball, Michael Jordan. Happy birthday, or happy belated birthday to him. He turned 58 yesterday, and what can you say about his airness? He is a legend. He is just, in terms of basketball skill, come on. Yeah. Come on. There's nothing that needs to be said about Michael Jordan that hasn't already been said by millions and millions of other people.
Hey, we said it on and off the record. If Magic Johnson and Larry Bird put the NBA on the national stage, Michael Jordan took it and he ran with it and put it on the international stage. That's all that has to be said from there.
Mm-hmm. They wasn't willing to take it, but then the scrimmage of the Dream Team happened, so then they was forced to give it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, nothing really else to say because it already has been said many times about Michael Jordan. So happy birthday, or happy belated birthday, Mike.
Yeah.
Turning 58. All right. Now going on to the games from last night. Like I said, a lot of craziness. First, let's start off with possibly the craziest of the night, possibly, which was the Miami Heat playing up against the Golden State Warriors in the Bay Area. And the Heat got off to a hot start early in the game. They got up big. They were leading by 15 at half. The Warriors, Curry was really struggling early on, really struggling. He couldn't really buy a shot. He couldn't get going, couldn't get in rhythm. And that's partially due credit of how the Heat played him. Really, anybody else can score, but not you. You can't score.
Yeah.
But like I said, everybody else can score, but you can't. So the Warriors stepped up to the plate. Kelly Oubre, Andrew Wiggins, in that starting unit, really helped them out to get back into the game. Kent Bazemore was remarkable the entirety of the game, coming off the bench, really stepped up. And by the way, Draymond did not play, so they really needed all this effort from everybody.
Yep.
So Draymond's not playing, Curry's having an off night, but when you have the other players stepping up that much, Kelly Oubre with I believe 23, Andrew Wiggins 20, 23, Kent Bazemore 26. This was big time for them. And as a result, even though the Heat were up 15, they made the Warriors starting to push in that third quarter really hard, and they got back into that game. And then in the fourth quarter, it was a battle.
Yes, it was. The Heat, this is a disappointment for the Heat in a way.
Whoa, let's not get it.
Sorry. Yeah, all right.
I didn't talk about the result. Yeah.
Let me stick to the Warriors. They were able to make a big comeback down in the third. Thanks, because even though, just like what you said, their star player Curry struggled, the bench was able to maintain that kind of like was able when you have people like again, not just the bench, but like Kelly Oubre and Andrew Wiggins, but like when you got Eric Pascal, you got Kent Bazemore, you got those guys who are putting in a lot of effort, energizing, doing everything that they could on both ends. You could see how much it turned around. It just turned around, and then it came down to the stretch. And when it's all said and done, a man named Wardell kind of babyface assassin kind of had to finish it off in a way.
Wardell. But as I said, yes, he had the lead, but it was the Warriors who kept pushing back. Kent Bazemore was really the catalyst in that fourth quarter, helping them get back into the game and then tying it. Curry hit a big three coming alive in that fourth quarter. And then next thing you know, Kendrick Nunn, the Warriors had missed. Oubre had missed the game-winning shot, the go-ahead shot, I believe, right?
You talking about you
In the
mean
fourth quarter, or was it?
You mean Nunn?
No, before Nunn got the ball. It was from the Warriors.
Yeah, it was. Yep, it was Kelly. Kelly did.
Yeah.
Yep, it was Kelly.
Kelly Oubre missed the go-ahead shot, and the Heat didn't call timeout. Nunn was able to get a decent look at the rim, but no go. And now we head into overtime, and this overtime was very just sloppy in like the first 3 minutes or 2.5 minutes of the game, or 2.5 minutes in the overtime, as no team scored up until the 2:30 mark, as Jimmy Butler took the layup, and then Kent Bazemore came back with another layup down the stretch, and then he was gone for the most of the game, but then Curry came alive late in that fourth quarter. A big corner pass to, I believe, who was it, Wiggins or?
Was it Wiggins? I don't know if it was either Wiggins or Bazemore. I think it had to be Wiggins.
I think so.
I think
But it was a big play late by Curry, a three before that, and then a three after the Heat made a three. Duncan Robinson made a three to make it a one possession game again. They were down by 3, and Curry closed it off with a big three. That's it. He came alive when he needed to, and that's all we asked for a star player who's having a bad night, is to come alive when you need them to come alive. Yeah. And as a result, with the performance by Oubre, Wiggins, Pascal, Kent Bazemore, and then Curry coming alive late, the Warriors were able to come back on this Heat team despite Draymond not being there, and they won this game.
Yeah.
Now you can talk about the disappointment of the Heat.
Yeah. This was disappointing. Again, we know this Heat culture, and we know what they're all about, and we know that they never give up in situations like these. And call it how it is, probably because of the fact of not seeing the ball go into a basket for a good amount of time. The defense, the Warriors style of defense coming down the stretch or whatsoever, but they just played with no true energy or heart, really, in a way. Like, you know what I mean? They played like they didn't want it down the stretch. And you could see because they got out hustled by Kent Bazemore multiple times, gave the Warriors second chance efforts, hustle points, everything was just going through. And it's just like and Jimmy Butler struggled too. Both stars for both teams struggled, but yet Curry picked it up. But Butler, even though he stopped the drought from like that overtime slump that was happening, they still he did not do good. He just really did not.
In terms of scoring, yeah, he was very sometimes like timid.
Yes.
And too willing to pass. As the stats show he did have a triple-double, but Butler felt like he needed to be more aggressive. Yeah. He wasn't.
Yeah. And the Warriors just took advantage. And again, the babyface assassin, mama, there goes that man, Wardell Curry, did that.
Yeah, well, I can't really blame Butler. I mean, nobody really knows who he is, so he didn't really have to ball out like that. So I mean, that doesn't matter. But as to this Heat team, this is just disappointing. They lost to Okay, so we all know what happened with them in the beginning of the season, all those injuries, all those COVID situations in which for Avery Bradley, who's still out, Myers Leonard, who I believe is out for the season, Mo Harkless, who's out still, um, Dragic has been in and out. Now he's currently out. Jimmy Butler was out for a long extended time. Bam's been missing action. Tyler Hero's been missing action. So, they've been going through all these injuries. So we gave them a pass earlier, obviously.
Yeah.
They got Jimmy Butler back, and then they got into a rhythm because now their best player is back, and then their leader is back. So they got into a rhythm, and they started winning some games, and they started playing well. Started playing like the Heat of last year.
Yeah.
Then they lose to a Kawhi Leonard and Paul George-less Clippers team, and I don't give a damn if the Clippers, played well and played with effort and played with hustle. When you are the defending Eastern Conference champions, that is not a loss that should be on your record. That's one. Now
Exactly.
you go into Golden State, and Golden State, who they're not the Golden State of before. They're playing well. They're playing with heart and energy. They're not Golden State of before. They don't have their leader in terms of on the court in terms of Draymond Green and
Yeah.
their best defender, and you lose against the Warriors as well, giving up a lead.
Mhm. And losing all that effort and energy that you're about in your organization. Yeah.
So I'm not giving no passes. I'm not giving no excuses. This is the Miami Heat that we're talking about. This is a team that is built on culture and prestige.
Yeah.
With Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra and Dwayne Wade beforehand. Now Jimmy Butler taking that reins.
Yeah.
These losses should not happen, especially when you need to get back into that playoff positioning. It's a battle right now for the play-ins in the playoffs right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
You
Especially that.
cannot lose these games.
Yeah, every game matters. We said it the last time when they lost to the Clippers. Every game matters. They need momentum. You can't be losing games like this. And you just can't be playing, can't be making people out hustle you. That's not the Heat culture way. I'm sorry. It's just not.
Yeah, it was really frustrating seeing Ken Bazemore grab getting all those rebounds and putting on all the effort, and Andrew Wiggins as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he needs to fix it. He needs to fix it very soon. Probably it probably won't happen in terms of before the All-Star break. They can start
Yeah.
a little run, but I feel like after All-Star break, they really need to figure it out.
Yeah. They
But
do.
as for the Warriors, a great and gutsy win, great come from behind win by this Warriors team. Credit to them from stepping up without Curry's presence throughout mostly the entire game.
Yeah.
All right. That was the comeback that happened. Let's talk about the comeback that almost happened. It was the Rockets, undermanned Rockets. Of course, Christian Wood still out. No Oladipo up against the Philadelphia 76ers, best record in the East. And the Sixers was shooting the ball like no other early in from the get-go.
Yeah.
Danny Green, Seth Curry, I believe even Thibault got into the action.
Mm-hmm.
and they just was shooting the ball lights out, and they got to an early, pretty comfortable lead against this Rockets team. Rockets really had no answer. And
Yeah.
the Rockets, once the other team gets out to a big lead, that's it.
Yeah.
There's really no coming back. And that's what I thought was gonna happen. And fast forward, towards the end of that third quarter, the Rockets started to make some noise, started to get to a run.
Yeah.
Then the fourth quarter hit, and it's like, oh, this is a new team.
Mm-hmm.
Led by John Wall, who came up big for them, made so many plays, not just with his passing, but also with his scoring. And not just with his scoring, his shooting.
Shooting, yeah.
So surprisingly, I mean, John Wall's not the best shooters. He can make it sometimes, but he was hitting them.
Yeah.
And they really needed that. They got some production from Tate, got some production from Cousins, and next thing you know, they in within single digits.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, after being down by like 20 plus.
Mm-hmm.
They're within single digits. John Wall hits a big three. And then they get a steal. And Eric Gordon, bless your heart. But they got a steal, and Eric Gordon was wide open, and they were down by 5. And if he makes this, they're down by 2. But then he missed. The Sixers, I believe. No. Rockets get a stop.
Yeah, they got to stop. Yeah.
The Rockets come down, and Eric Gordon, I believe, again after that, right?
Yeah, attacks the basket. Yeah,
he attacks the basket, but then he misses a layup.
And I think Tate got the rebound though. I could be wrong. I believe Tate got the rebound, or somebody on that Rockets team got the rebound, but I don't think they converted. Or I don't remember about them converting.
And then the Sixers got the ball back, and I believe M.B went to work.
Mm-hmm.
But the Rockets still
struggled in the first half, by the way.
Yes, he did struggle. But it was fine for him because everybody else was just shooting.
Yeah.
But yeah, MB who came alive late in that fourth quarter for them, which they needed. And the Rockets couldn't get those key stops. Even though they were scoring, they couldn't get the stops they needed. And as a result, it was a comeback that wasn't. And the Rockets fall to the Sixers.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, seeing that whole sequence or that whole second half just happen, it was just like me and you both. I know for a fact we wanted to see Houston win this game because I believe we chose the Sixers to win this game. So even though we were correct, our hearts changed within the middle of just seeing that because the Rockets have been through a lot. A really good team, a really talented team on both ends of the floor, especially on the in my opinion, on the offense. And even though everybody say defensively they got it, like they have been such an up and down. You want to see them start to get back into that winning way again, and they just things like these is what makes you hype. But I felt like if Eric Gordon would have made that 3, I felt like we'll be having a change of the tide right now. I felt like the momentum when I shifted in their way, just like how it just shifted in general when that second half hit. They played with more energy, more effort, thanks to what you just said, because of the leadership, the shooting, and the scoring ability of John Wall coming down that stretch.
Yeah, 2 big threes in that fourth quarter for them to get back to that game.
Yeah, and exactly. And they had opportunity, but Joel, look at it. The Sixers shooters started it. Joel finished it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's what it was. And just unfortunately, the Rockets weren't able to make the big time comeback win that we wish that they would have had.
The Sixers not making it far into the playoffs if this is happening.
Yeah, they're not.
They cannot give up these leads like that. Yes, they won, but I've seen this before from them.
Yeah,
they had comfortable leagues, big leagues. This should not happen. And plus, you're supposed to be the best team in the East. This is a Rockets team who's not even healthy.
Yeah,
this should be a win. It's like this, they cannot get far if they are squandering leads like this. Because what's going to happen in the playoffs? The same thing is going to happen. And in the playoffs, the momentum shift like that.
Yeah.
So you can just you have to get better at maintaining your leads, Doc Rivers. You have to get better at playing better defense and keeping that same energy that you had.
Yeah.
So yeah, another win that they really shouldn't have won. The same with the Lakers a couple months ago or last month.
Yeah.
But credit to this Rockets team. They've been playing hard every single time they play, despite their injuries. I feel like John Wall and Victor Oladipo has barely played. They only played like 3 full games together, I believe. Yeah. They haven't been healthy for the entirety of the season. Eric Gordon's in and out of the lineup. John Wall's in and out of the lineup. Victor Oladipo's in and out of the lineup. Christian Wood is out for right now. So, but yet they still compete. And they still play hard. And I love to see that from the Rockets.
And I'm telling you right now, man, they need to bring back Kevin Porter from the G League, man. Oh my gosh, just imagine him in this team right now. I feel like they would do so. Like, I'm not gonna say he makes a big difference, but he makes a really good difference, to be honest.
They need to touch up on their defense, and they need to stop giving up big leads early.
Yeah.
But yeah, The Sixers win, but credit to the Rockets for staying in and fighting all the way up until the end.
Yeah.
All right. There was a crazy amount of games around the association besides those two national televised games. So I'll let you go first. What you want to talk about?
Let's just say this Pelicans Blazers game was just that was just a classic, a hardwood classic for real. You had the Blazers that yep, you had the Blazers that just started it off like just hot, especially that man Damian Lillard in that first quarter. He had it going. And as a result, that triggered the whole team. That whole team was just going crazy in the first quarter. From threes to get into the basket, their whole offense was just on the offensive display. But hey, we're talking about two teams here, the Blazers and the Pelicans, that are not really good defensively. Let's just be honest about that. So you know that this was a fast-paced, high octane, just back and forth, exchanging buckets kind of game. And you've seen it. It started off with the Blazers getting hot, then the Pelicans started to make a run, and then it just went from that point on. And at the end, it was a close game. It was a close game in which it came down. I believe the Blazers were down by one. They were down by a possession, and Dame time came alive.
You know what time it is. You know what
Yep.
time it is.
Got into the room, got straight into the basket, made the layup and won. Went to the free throw line, iced it. Ingram had the opportunity to make a game winner, airballed it, and from that point on, the Blazers won the game. And it was just beautiful. And real quickly, let me just say the 3-point shooting from both of these teams. Don't get me wrong. Number one, Zion, again, just still looking like a bully ball. I swear, the way he was getting into the paint, his handle was looking kind of nice. And the way he was just bullying, just getting his way, like I swear, for a fact, you could agree with me. Outside of LeBron, probably we have never truly seen somebody with our own eyes with that kind of size be that good at what he does with the ball, with on and off the ball. Let's just be honest like that. But the 3-point shooting for both of these teams was just lights out. Gary Trent had it also going from three. These they were just hitting it from all around on the perimeter.
Yeah, that was a crazy game, but really fun to watch. Yeah, credit to this Blazers team who has been winning despite the injuries. So I love to see players stepping up: Simons, Trent, Melo, and of course Dame doing what Dame does best.
Exactly.
All right. Any other game that you would like to speak about?
The Wizards, the Wizards and the Nuggets. Let's say this. I believe the Nuggets actually had a good lead. Like it was a back and forth in the first quarter, but the Nuggets had the lead, and then the Wizards started to make a huge run from the second onto the from the second quarter onto the half. Yeah, onto the second half into the third. And then all of a sudden, here comes, even though they've been inconsistent, here comes the Nuggets down the stretch. Jokic and Murray. And that whole team just get into a pace. And I feel bad for what's his name? Campazzo.
He got speared.
But yeah, he still made the three. So that's how you know that they was getting hot. They was getting
pull
hot.
Up footage.
He got speared, but he made the shot when it counted.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing, the Nuggets was just going off, especially Murray. And this is what we like to see from Murray. Big shots, big clutch shots coming down the stretch. And the Nuggets had an opportunity to take this game for sure, but the foul calls and everything just kind of baited them in the end, in a way. And I believe Jermichael Green was the victim of both of those foul calls, those important foul calls.
Yeah.
And the most important one that was able to help give the Wizards to take this game was Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal attacked the rim. Felt like it was a clean defensive play, but the refs called foul. It was only a point 10 for a second left on the clock. Bradley Beal went to the line, iced it, and then the Wizards won from there. And it's just like, wow, like, this is the kind of game in which when you see things like that happen, even though it could go either way, you kind of want to see the Nuggets win because it was just that fun with the way they were going off down the stretch, man.
Yeah, that three that Jamal Murray hit to tie the game, it was crazy.
He hit two big threes to tie the game to tie the game. Yeah.
Yeah, but you didn't mention one person from that Wizards team who stepped up for them in that win.
Was it Westbrook?
Not Westbrook.
Bill?
You talking about Bill, not Bill.
Who was it? Oh, Alex Len?
I'm just gonna say it. Yeah. Davis Bertans.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he was the one that made the threes, not threes, the free throws when Jermichael Green fouled him.
Yes, he did. He got fouled at the three. Yep, he got fouled at the three on the wing.
And he was killing throughout the entire game. He was shooting nonstop, shooting the lights out against the Nuggets. He had 35 in the game.
Wow. That was a quiet 50. I did not realize he even had I didn't even realize 50, 35. Because the way the game was going, I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even realize he even had 30.
Yeah, the game was crazy. It was just back like in that fourth quarter. Yeah. It was just scoring nonstop. Mm-hmm. But yeah, disappointing loss by this Nuggets team. But credit to the Wizards. Big win by them, who have now won 3 in a row. That is right. The Washington Wizards have won 3 in a row.
And it's with Westbrook playing too. So so finally,
Yep. All right. Any other games you want to talk about?
Just briefly, quickly, the Clippers and the Jazz, and this was a really good back and forth game all the way into the fourth quarter. The Clippers with no Paul George, no Kawhi, still playing with that big chip on their shoulder, coming off a momentum win from Miami. And they were legit exchanging a lot of buckets and doing it well on the defensive end with the Utah Jazz. Again, a team that has been hot for majority of the season so far. Mm-hmm. And they were sticking in there, and then it felt like towards the end of the third, going into the fourth quarter, they just gave up. And the Jazz, being who they are and how they've been this whole season with their shooters, their scorers, their shot makers, and their shot creators and everything, and their big defensive presence also is just they were able to go on a big run and just take the game from there.
Yeah. Jazz, I think, was that 19 out of 20?
Yes.
Yeah, man. What else can we say about them? We said so about them enough. So yeah, but good effort by the Clippers, but good win by the Jazz.
Yeah.
All right. Real quickly, I'll try to speed run these games.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. We've been talking a lot. But I'll try to, and we still have stuff to go over. But I'll try to speed run these games. First, starting off with the Hawks and the Celtics. A very competitive game between the Hawks and Celtics. The Hawks had 40 points in the paint in that first half, killing the Celtics down low. I mean, the Celtics don't really have a down low presence, so that was the way to go. But in the second half, it wasn't the paint that killed the Celtics. It was Trae Young that killed them. Trae Young with a light 40 on the Celtics head, even though Tatum was really pushing them and really helping them to, keeping the battle close, and it was a close game. But Trae Young late in that fourth quarter, just 3, and that's game. See, a great performance by the Hawks, great performance by Trae Young. Beat the struggling Celtics who are bowed back to their losing ways. And I don't know what's going on with them, but we've already talked about that. So what can you have to say? All right. Next, the Pistons and the Bulls played kind of like Bad Boys and Jordan. This was a competitive battle, both back and forth. One side led by Jamie Grant, one side led by Zach LaVine, and that's pretty much how it went. Jamie Grant was doing it all for the Pistons. Zach LaVine was doing it all for the Bulls. Jamie Grant finished with 43. The Bulls finished. Zach LaVine finished with 37, but in the end, it was the Bulls getting key stops and making big plays late in that fourth quarter to win the game. Mm-hmm. And lastly, it was a overtime thriller between the Pacers and the Timberwolves. Domantas Sabonis balling out, triple-double with 36 points throughout the game for the Pacers. The Timberwolves, Malik Beasley, who came off the bench for this game, really stepped up. He's been playing well throughout the entire season. Cat with his best game of the season, 30-10. Feels good to say that about Cat. You know how great he is, of a talent he is. And it was a tie game in that fourth quarter, 121 to 121. And Anthony Edwards, rookie, with a chance to hit a dream game winner, but the ball went in and out, halfway in, then just popped out. Then overtime, late, it was Malcolm Brogdon who clutched it out for the Pacers. I tell you, he deserves some recognition for those all-star votes. He really does. He's been really balling out. He finished 30 in the game and helped Pacers seal this win against the Timberwolves.
Yes.
Yep. All right. Oh, there was one game. Oh, no, 2 games. Never mind. I didn't talk about the Knicks because, yeah. All right. Now, before we go on to predictions, it is time. It is Thursday. You know, tonight, the All-Star starters will be revealed. So, how about we give our All-Star starters in our opinion? Okay. I guess I'll start first, and Ja, you should pull up the screen.
Of course.
All right. Starting off in the Eastern Conference, my backcourt consists of course, my player to look out for. How could it be anyone else but Bradley Beal? You know the monster season he's been having. What else can you say? Leading the league in points per game, even though the Wizards had been terrible despite the past 3 games. But even though the Wizards have disappointed and haven't been playing well and their defense is terrible, he is not the reason. He's come to play every single game that he has been in. He's balled out. He's been an offensive monster throughout the season. So, of course, he deserves it. Next in my backcourt is Jaylen Brown. Now, this was very debatable between Jaylen, Kyrie, LaVine, Harden. I mean, it's really debatable in that backcourt in the East. But the reason why Jaylen I've given him the edge is because he's been playing very well for the Celtics. He's been very consistent throughout the entire season for the Celtics. I feel like every time I watch the Celtics team, he doesn't have a bad game. He's not playing well. He's always putting up that around 25 to 30 points.
Yeah.
You know, he's always playing good defense. He's always doing everything he can to ensure the Celtics are getting that win. He's been probably the brightest of bright spots for the Celtics this season, despite their struggles. Tatum is still their best player, but he has been like that star for them. So, yeah, that's why I have Jaylen Brown. In my front court, Kevin Durant, Giannis, Embiid. Is there really a debate for any of those 3? There shouldn't be. So I'm not going to go into it. So let's go into the West. I'm going to start with the front court for the West this time. I have, of course, the King, LeBron. What can you say? The man is in his, 18th year, and it feels like he's in his 5th year. Yeah. I mean, it's just unbelievable. He's 36. Looks like he's 26. Playing the best basketball. It's crazy. It really is crazy. Nikola Jokic, MVP candidate. One of the best players in the league, arguably the best center in the league. Him and Embiid has that battle. One of the best passes in the league. He's a center, and we're saying that. It's ridiculous. And, of course, he's been balling out for the Nuggets. Every time the Nuggets play, you know he's just going to dominate, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's really nothing you can do. He's slow, but you know he's going to do, but you're not stopping him. Yeah. And lastly, in that front court, debatably, I did choose Kawhi Leonard to claw. I was debating between him and Paul George, but I gave him the edge because I feel like in the recent games up until the injury or the injury that he had and the reason why he's out, up until those games, I feel like he really stepped up for the Clippers without Paul George being there. I feel like that edged him just slightly above PG. I mean, it is debatable. You can say PG. I'm not gonna debate that. I'm not gonna argue that. But yeah, I just got Kawhi. All right, and in the backcourt, I got Stephen Curry. What else can you say about
Same.
Stephen Curry? He is a highlight. He is a show. He is a master of his art. I mean, of course, he's gonna be there. And next, this was really tough between two people, but I did choose Damian Lillard. Why did I choose Damian Lillard over Luka Doncic? Because I know that's the debate. Because Damian Lillard, look at what he's been doing with the Blazers as recently. The Blazers have lost CJ, they've lost Nurk, and yet they're still winning.
Yeah.
And the main part is to the Dame. I know the Mavericks, even though they just had their loss against the Blazers, they've been playing well before that, and that is due part to Luka.
Yeah.
But Dame has really done it all for this Blazers team.
Yeah.
Almost as Luka has done it all for the Mavericks. But he's been leading them to wins. Luka just started leading them to wins, getting into that area. Dame has been doing that for mostly the entire season.
Yeah.
So that's why I gave it to Dame. If you do pick Luka, there's no debate. I'm not gonna argue. So yeah, that is my all-star starters.
Yeah. Well, so since I think we have like kind of a close list, let's just give out the guarantee obvious that we both agree on in a way. So starting off with my Eastern Conference starters, back one of the backcourt partners, Bradley Beal. No debate on that one. I most definitely had him going in. His level of play, especially his scoring ability throughout the whole season, has just been on a high level, even though his team has been struggling to get wins because of the fact they can't guard a parked car. Like, he's been just balling out straight up, and there should be no question. He should be in the starting lineup. It will be a travesty if he's not. The front court, no question about it. You got Embiid, Durant, Giannis. Can't debate on any of those guys. That's a simple given. KD's been playing as if like he never got injured at all. If you see the way he's playing, and B playing at a high MVP level, and Giannis, even though he doesn't, and even though he's still in the MVP conversation, and we don't have him big, he's still been balling out like always as usual, and there should be no question about that. But in terms of one of the players for the backcourt, it was debatable, just like you said. But for me, I had Zach LaVine going into that starting lineup because of the simple fact that, yes, even though Jaylen Brown has been consistent and balling out as usual, I felt like this been long overdue for Zach LaVine in a way. I felt like last year he should have been an all-star and he got snubbed out of that. And also, but with this year, he's just been like, he's been doing the same thing or doing way more better than what he has done last year. And yet he has been putting the Bulls in that area within the conference in which they have an opportunity to still be in the playing game as the season goes on. He's been the main reason why the Bulls have been maintaining that kind of hunt within the playoff race within the Eastern Conference. And that's the reason why I chose him as my position for the starting lineup as the other backcourt partner right next to Bradley Beal.
Okay.
For the West, current locks was obviously Curry, James, Jokic. There's no debating those three. LeBron, greatest player in the planet. I don't know how you're going to overlook him. Jokic, still one of the best big men in the game, one of the best passing big men. He's been just balling out this whole season. I don't know how you could go against that. And Curry, he's been carrying his team with nothing much to really much to look for. They've been shocking us out the water mainly because of him. He's been having big high scoring performances, had 62, 47, he's just been balling all around. But here is two spots I kind of had to debate it in between. I'll start off with the front court. It was debatable between Kawhi and Paul George. And I know he has missed the recent stretch of games, but I still went with Paul George because I felt like when he was playing, you could make a case that he was even playing better than Kawhi Leonard before he got hurt. and been the main reason, and like not the main reason. Him and Kawhi Leonard has been the main reason why the Clippers have had success, along with the new system that they have fit in terms of working around with the spacing and stuff and working in the mid-range area. And even though, yes, you can now make a case for Kawhi Leonard being in that starting lineup, if he hasn't been over, he's been on that same level as Kawhi Leonard to get that much recognition, even though he has been out. For the backcourt now, I chose between Dame and Luka, and it was tough, but I most definitely had to go with Dame.
Iguodala. Oh, sorry.
Sorry. I most definitely have to go with Dame because of the simple fact, like, yes, you can make a case for Luka in terms of how the season started and his individual performance throughout the season so far. Because let's be honest, Dame did struggle to begin the season. Yes, he did. He did struggle. Yes, he did.
Who?
He had 9 points to start off the season. Remember that?
That one game, sure, yes, against Utah. Fine. Well, yeah, okay. But yeah, keep going.
And also, even though he had 20-point games early on too, he did struggle on the field. He was not efficient. He was not consistent. And one of the games you could point out to that also was against the Clippers, who manhandled him in a way. Even though he had 20 points, most of them was off of free throws. And they locked him up big time. But just like the main reason that you gave, Dame, with no CJ, no Nurkic, mostly out for injuries, he has been able, and he has been doing this for a long time. Don't sleep on Dame. He has been doing this for a while now, but he has still kept the Blazers in contention despite all the shortcomings that has led to the Blazers being in this tough spot right now. He has still kept them within that playoff hunt, despite the fact of everything that they had to go through, they had to suffer throughout the season, and which is the reason why I gave him the nod over Luka.
All right. I can't be mad at that list at all. I mean, it's basically identical to mine. Just a couple tweaks. You have Paul George. I have Kawhi. You have Jaylen Brown. I have Jaylen Brown. You have Zach LaVine. I think you picked Zach LaVine because you like him. So I think if that's biased, but sure. I mean, if we're going off of bias, vote Julius Randle, who I believe should be an all-star. Just letting you know, Julius Randle, even though the Knicks lost last night, he did still balled out. So we'll Julius Randle, by the way, just getting that in there. But yeah, no complaints about your list. Zach LaVine, the reason why I didn't pick him is because the Bulls are really losing a lot.
Yeah, they are, but again, they're in the Eastern Conference, and I feel like they're still getting that edge to be in the playoff game if the season was to end today.
Yeah, I think they will be in the playing game if the season was to end today. But I feel like Jaylen Brown has been leading the Celtics to wins, not so recently, but that's not really his fault.
Yeah.
But yeah, they would be in the playing game, the 9th seed. Yeah, so that's why I really didn't really pick Zach LaVine, but I can't be really mad at that. I hope he makes the All-Star team. I really think he deserves it. I think he deserves it more this year than he even did last year, and last year he deserved it.
Yeah.
So
I gotta say, really.
But yeah, those are all All-Star starters. I wonder how many of you have our same ones or agree or disagree. Once again, of course, tonight will be the All-Star official starters that will be released and announced, and tomorrow we would react to those. Before we go, predictions for tonight's set of games. I believe there's there's only 3 games for tonight, but they should be interesting. First, prime time, starting off with the Raptors and the Bucks, the rematch from a couple of nights ago, in which the Raptors beat the Bucks.
I got the Bucks.
You got the Bucks this time. I got the Bucks this time as well. They really need to bounce back.
Yeah.
They've just been losing. Yeah. The next primetime game It should be a good one. It is the Brooklyn Nets. KD returns in this game, I do believe. I think Kyrie plays. So that would be interesting from their part. Up against the defending champions, Los Angeles Lakers, despite no Anthony Davis, though. But nonetheless, who you got?
No AD, all Nets.
All Nets, all Nets.
I'm not gonna say that it's not that easy, but I'm just saying, like, no AD.
It's not that easy. The Lakers still got LeBron.
Yeah, KD's back. I just feel like the Nets got this.
Man. The Lakers. I got the Lakers. And next, the Heat or the Kings.
Kings. Yeah.
I got the Kings as well.
I'm sorry, Heat, but come on. You're disappointing.
No, I'm not sorry. Don't say sorry. You're gonna say sorry. You're not gonna say sorry. James Harden. Don't say sorry to the Heat.
All right, look. I'm ready to make the apology. James Harden, I apologize. Forgive me. But if you do mess up in the playoffs, I'm taking back my apology.
Hopefully he won't. All right. Now I think it's time to wrap things up. A longer episode than usual, but as you witnessed, we had a lot to cover.
Yeah.
So many things happening around the association. That man might get snubbed for the All-Star game, by the way. Just to mention it. And it's not due to his fault. Just a lot of talent. Just a lot of talent in this league. A lot of talent that should be All-Stars.
Yeah. You're not lying about that.
Yep, and I won't apologize. All right. With that being said, do you have anything to add?
No, I don't have anything to add. Let's just get this over with.
Good. Thank you guys for watching today's pod. Make sure you tune into tomorrow's podcast. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe.
Also, follow our IG down in the description below.
And once again, I'm Evan.
I'm Ja.
And this is My Basketball Podcast.